Jake Paul is going off after Floyd Mayweather just exposed his Mike Tyson fight tactics. Paul is gearing up for the toughest fight of his career, but all his secrets are out, thanks to Mayweather. I guess the YouTuber turned boxer should have thought twice before picking a bone with money Mayweather, because this guy isn't holding back. He's a fraud and a cheater. Yeah, Floyd, we hear you. Buckle up, because we're diving deep into this war of words and what it means for Jake Paul's future in boxing. Jake Paul is firing shots at Mayweather after the boxing legend just spilled the beans on his tactics. Yep, the problem child's secrets are out, and he's pissed. When you're stepping into the ring with the baddest man on the planet, you need to get all the help you can get and must take advantage of every strategy out there. The YouTuber turned boxer had his whole maneuver planned to come out on top against Iron Mike on November 15th at the AT&T Arena. With the cat out of the bag now, these tactics will be of no use to him anymore. Jake's biggest weapon isn't his power or his fight IQ. Jake's all about his brash personality and verbal smackdowns. The YouTuber turned boxer tries to mess up with his opponent's head and plant the seed of fear that Jake's some kind of big knockout star. If you look a little deeper, Jake being a knockout star is far from the truth. Let's break it down. There's no denying that Jake has had a series of epic knockout wins. I mean, his first-round knockout win against Ben Askren was the reason why the Jake Paul hype train ever left the station. This was only the start for the boxer who picked up one win after another until he was handed the first loss of his career by Tommy Fury. But here's the thing, all these crazy knockouts under his belt, yet Jake hasn't really fought the cream of the crop. All his opponents have been handpicked to make things easier for him in the ring, and these orchestrated charades have been against retired MMA stars or NBA players like Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, and Nate Robinson. One can only imagine what'll go down when the former Disney star tests his skills against a seasoned professional. Enter Floyd Money Mayweather, the undefeated boxing legend who has a knack for staying relevant both inside and outside the ring. I've seen Jake Paul's training. He's trying to copy my style, but there's only one Money Mayweather. He's in over his head if he thinks he can outsmart Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Floyd's been warning him since day one. The boxing legend has seen it all, so the fight world doesn't take his words with grains of salt. Money Mayweather has made it clear that Jake won't be able to hold up against a pro like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul has been the talk of the town ever since the athletes announced they were stepping into the ring for a clash of the eras. Well, leading up to the big fight night, this matchup hit a roadblock and had to be postponed due to Mike's health hiccup. Yep, the athlete suffered an ulcer flare-up during a cross-country flight from Miami to Los Angeles, where the doctors gave him strict orders to stay out of the boxing ring for some time. I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I have been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon. Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good. I appreciate everyone's patience and can't wait to deliver an unforgettable performance later this year. Many fans believe there's more to this story and this fight got canceled because Jake got cold feet. So was it really a health concern? Or did Jake's prayers for an escape plan get answered? Remember all the trash talk and hype surrounding the potential Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight on July 20th before it was canceled for now? Yeah, Floyd Mayweather remembers too. And apparently he wasn't buying it for a second. In a recent interview that sent shockwaves through the boxing world, Mayweather unleashed a verbal beatdown on Jake Paul, accusing him of ducking a real fight and manipulating the situation for fame. Picking a legend past his prime? Come on, that's not boxing, that's entertainment. A real boxer wants to test their skills, not exploit someone's legacy. Floyd's got a point, and many fans picked up on it too. The fight world has been putting Paul on a blast for challenging Mike Tyson. Come on, the dude's pushing 60s for God's sake. If Jake wants to prove something by knocking Tyson out cold in the ring, he's 30 years too late for the job. Taking down a 58-year-old Iron Mike isn't going to do anything good for the athlete because that's a man with health concerns and ulcers. But Mayweather didn't stop there. He dropped a bombshell, claiming to have inside information about Jake Paul's supposed fear of facing Iron Mike. Mayweather hinted at a network of sources revealing Jake's pre-fight jitters and alleged attempts to sabotage the fight behind the scenes. Floyd and Jake have been throwing verbal jabs at each other for quite some time now, and it looks like their beef isn't going to end anytime soon. The athletes have been up for potential fight negotiations, but they haven't been able to put ink on the contract yet. If you ask Paul, it's because he believes Floyd's too scared to fight him.
There's really no excuse for him to fight me other than he knows he's going to lose. And he says, what? He goes, what? I'm a mimic Floyd. Once you fight a real fighter, I mean, what he's doing is good, but...
Let's not forget that Money Mayweather is also retired and is counting his last days in exhibition boxing. The athlete is just trying to make big bucks by grabbing as many money fights as possible before hanging up his gloves for good. His recent dig at Paul has sent the entire fight world into a frenzy. Is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson simply a PR stunt? If you think about it, Mayweather might be onto something. The internet went absolutely nuts over this. Memes exploded faster than a Tesla on ludicrous mode. Conspiracy theories flew like pigeons in a park. Was Jake Paul ever serious about fighting Tyson? Did he just want the attention? The drama was thicker than Jake Paul's eyebrows. Of course, Jake Paul wouldn't take these accusations lying down. He took to social media, firing back at Mayweather with a series of tweets that were a mix of anger, denial, and a weak attempt at justification. Come on, Jake really doesn't have much backing him up as a real boxer. Fans have been calling him out for being a fraud and a con man. They've noticed a pattern in all of Jake's wins, and it's that his opponents have either been old, retired, or with no history in boxing. He doesn't have much on his resume yet to cement his status as a legitimate boxer. Floyd's been having a field day roasting Jake Paul lately. The athlete has exposed Paul's Mike Tyson's tactics. His victory's dependent on Mike's health. Jake wants Mike to be sick. He fights because he's a dirty boxer. Hear me out, Mike, even at 58, is a dangerous man, and if Jake believes taking the boxing legend down will be a walk in the park for him, he simply needs to think again. According to Mayweather, Jake has been trying to mimic his defensive style, focusing on counterpunching and evading attacks rather than going toe-to-toe with Tyson's power. Jake thinks he can play it safe and outbox Mike, but he's forgetting one crucial thing: Tyson's unpredictability and relentless pressure. You can't run from a beast like Mike Tyson. Now, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson has been pushed back to November 15th and the AT&T Arena. But this fight is still in jeopardy because you've got a man pushing 60s in the matchup. Of course, health issues can come up any second. With the postponement of this epic bout, Jake didn't want to sit idle. He wants to be as active as possible, so the YouTuber-turned-boxer got himself another opponent for July 20th. If you ask me, I think he'd be better off just gearing up for the Tyson fight, but Jake being Jake, he has bitten off more than he can chew. So who is this new opponent? It's none other than the man himself, Mike Perry. The problem child is set to step into the ring with Mike Perry on July 20th in Tampa, Florida. Haven't heard of Mike Perry? No worries, I've got you covered. You might know him as Platinum Perry from crushing opponents in the UFC. But he's not just a cage fighter, this dude is a bare-knuckle brawler. He's undefeated with some seriously brutal knockouts to his name. Now, Perry might be a knockout king in bare knuckle, but how's his pro boxing record? Well, he only has one fight under his belt so far, and it wasn't a win. But hey, everyone starts somewhere, right? He's ready to bounce back and prove himself against Jake Paul. Sure, everyone was hyped for Jake versus Mike Tyson, a legendary comeback fight, but hear me out. Mike Perry is no pushover. He's a real fighter with knockout power, which means this fight is going to be a banger. Jake might be seeing Perry as a warm-up before Tyson, but if he thinks this will be easy, he's in for a rude awakening.
What's that? You're an appetizer, brother. You're an appetizer. You're a Mike appetizer. Did you move to Florida after?
The problem child doesn't realize how much he's risking with this new matchup. Losing to Perry is going to put his fight with Tyson in jeopardy, but maybe that's exactly what Paul wants. Who knows? Just the thought of stepping into the ring with Tyson makes me tremble in my boots, so I'm sure Jake is as terrified as one could be. If Jake still wants that dream fight with Tyson, he better win against Perry, because Platinum Perry himself had a message for Jake Paul, and maybe even Iron Mike, in a recent interview with Michael Bisping. I'm trying to ruin that whole thing for him, see if they offer it to me after I knock Jake out and be like, hey, do you want to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix? That's the real win here if I can stop that. But I don't want it to hurt Mike's pockets either. So there you go, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What do you think about boxing pros roasting Jake Paul? Fill in the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.